Hello and welcome everyone. Today's presentation is on COVID-19, the management guidelines from CDC. So, the testing for SARS-CoV-2 infection. A molecular or an antigen test for severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus should be used to diagnose the SARS-CoV-2 infection. The guidelines recommend against using serological test as the sole basis for diagnosis. You can use it as a combination with the molecular therapy or with a CT scan, but as a sole diagnostic measure, antibody test should not be used. It recommends against the use of serological testing to determine whether a person is immune to SARS-CoV-2 infection or not. Prevention and prophylaxis for SARS-CoV-2 infection. The guidelines recommend against the use of any agent for SARS-CoV-2 pre-exposure prophylaxis or post-exposure prophylaxis, except in a setting of clinical trial. So coming to the care of critically ill patients with COVID-19. First, infection control. For healthcare workers who are performing aerosol generating procedures on patients with COVID-19 must use fit tested respirators like N95 respirators or powered air purifying respirators rather than surgical masks. In addition, they must use personal protective equipments. Endotracheal intubation for patients with COVID-19 must be performed by healthcare providers with extensive airway management experience. And it is always recommended if the intubation is achieved via a video laryngoscope. Coming to the hemodynamic support, noradrenaline will be the first choice of vasopressor. And for adults with COVID-19 with a refractory shock, a low-dose corticosteroid therapy is preferred over no corticosteroid therapy. Now coming to the most important part, that is the ventilatory management. For adults with COVID-19 and acute hypoxemic respiratory failure, despite conventional oxygen, high flow nasal cannula is preferred over non-invasive positive pressure ventilation. But in absence of an indication for endotracheal intubation, a closely monitored non-invasive positive pressure trial can be given in these patients if HFNC is not available. For patients with persistent hypoxemia despite increasing supplemental oxygen requirement in whom endotracheal intubation is not otherwise indicated, please go in for a trial of awake prone positioning to improve the oxygenation. It recommends against using awake proning as a rescue therapy to avoid intubation. Do not avoid intubation when you have a clear indication. For mechanically ventilated adults with COVID-19 acute respiratory distress syndrome, use a tidal volume of 4 to 8, but you can go above 8 if there is requirement. For mechanically ventilated adults with COVID-19 and refractory hypoxemia, a prone positioning for 12 to 16 hours is recommended over no prone positioning. For mechanically ventilated patient with COVID-19, despite optimized ventilation and other rescue parameters, if you still don't find benefit, then you can use inhaled pulmonary vasodilators. But if you do not find a rapid improvement, you must taper it off. Regarding ECMO, there is insufficient data to recommend for or against it. Acute kidney injury and renal replacement therapy. If a critically ill patient of COVID-19 requires dialysis, then it is better to go for continuous renal replacement therapy if available. If CRRT is not available, then it is preferable to go for prolonged sessions of SLED rather than intermittent hemodialysis. Now let's see at the potential antiviral drugs that can be used. First is obviously remdesivir. Because remdesivir supplies are limited, it should be prioritized for use in hospitalized patients who require supplemental oxygen but who are not on non-invasive ventilation or mechanical ventilation or ECMO. There is insufficient data for or against it to use in mild to moderate COVID-19 infections. If the patient is receiving remdesivir, it must receive for at least 5 days or until hospital discharge, whichever comes first. If a patient who is on supplemental oxygen while receiving remdesivir progresses to invasive ventilation, HFNC or ECMO, then the course of remdesivir should be completed, that is a 5-day. If after 5 days we do find some improvement, then we can continue giving remdesivir for 10 days. Chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine, no recommendations can be made as of now and should be only used for trial purposes. Other antivirals, again, no recommendations as of now, should only be used in a trial setting. Steroids, dexamethasone 6 mg per day for up to 10 days for the treatment of COVID-19 in non-mechanically ventilated patients requiring dexamethasone 6 mg per day for up to 10 days can be used in mechanically ventilated patients or patients who are requiring supplemental oxygen. The guidelines recommend against using dexamethasone in patients who do not require supplemental oxygen. If dexamethasone is not available, the panel recommends using alternative glucocorticoids like prednisolone, methylprednisolone, and hydrocort. Other immunomodulators like tocilizumab, no recommendation as data is insufficient as of now and should only be used for trial purposes. Convalescent plasma. This also has insufficient evidence. A single RCT that has been published did not find much benefit, so not much recommendation can be made regarding the use of convalescent plasma. Antithrombotic therapy in patients with COVID-19. Lab tests. Though the lab tests are not recommended in patients who are not hospitalized, even in hospitalized patients, there is insufficient data whether these lab tests actually influence our management. So they can or cannot be used. Regarding what treatment we can give, there is currently insufficient data to recommend for or against the use of thrombolytics or increasing anticoagulation doses of DVT prophylaxis in these patients, and should only be used in a setting of clinical trial. Routine prescription of DVT prophylaxis at discharge cannot be recommended as of now, but if the patient is low risk of bleeding, this can be prescribed at discharge. Coming to the adjuvant therapies, none of the adjuvant therapies, that is vitamin C, D or zinc, have any sufficient evidence for recommendations as of now. Now, considering for certain concomitant medications which have been controversy since the day COVID-19 started, that is most importantly the ACE inhibitors or the ARB, regarding use of steroid, statins or NSAIDs, all these drugs can be used as they were used before. So for a patient who is on COVID-19 who was using these drugs prior, there is no need to change anything about these drugs. They can continue to take them as they were taking before. So to summarize the findings, in mild to moderate infections, remdesivir can be used with adjuvants like vitamin C, D and zinc, as there is not much harm. But if you are using remdesivir, please look out for the renal function of the patient. If the patient requires oxygen therapy, you can add dexamethasone. And if the patient further worsens on high flow nasal cannula, can be put. If high flow nasal cannula is unavailable, then you can go for non-invasive ventilation. Finally, we can go for intubation. If after intubation and all ventilatory management there is no benefit, then patient must be proned. And last but not the least, avoid giving broad spectrum antibiotics in this patient just because they are having a severe illness. Reserve the antibiotics until and unless you have an indication that there is a secondary bacterial infection. Thank you for your patience and check our website for further information.